All right, so thank you everyone for coming to the webinar and welcome to the University of Michigan. We look forward to talking with you about the Michigan Learning Communities, or MLCs as we call them here. My name is Amelia. I am a first-year student from Grosse Pointe, Michigan, studying user experience design, and my own MLC is the residential college. So I will be joined on screen today by students enrolled in different MLCs across campus, and others will be answering questions. We're finishing our courses online at this term, like many of you probably are. We're all over the US and we realize that internet service levels may vary. So while we can't control the quality of the connection, we hope that this Zoom platform is the best way to reach as many of you as possible. And if you have to feed in and out of the presentation at times, don't worry about it. We understand that service may be lacking for some of you. So tonight we will hear from students representing 8 different MLCs across campus. Each program will speak for 3 minutes, and after all programs have spoken, we'll take your questions live. If you have questions during the presentation, there's a written Q&A feature on the bottom of the screen. Please make sure that you're typing in the Q&A feature and not the chat box. The speaker will respond, or another off-camera student will type an answer. We will also put links for each program in the chat box. I encourage you to visit these, check out their social media pages as well if you're looking for some more information about specific MLCs. So after we hear from all of the different MLCs represented here today, we will come back to some more questions at the end. So first things first, hopefully you guys know what hopefully you know what an MLC is. This is a Michigan learning community, and they are combined academic and residential experiences. They focus on learning and community. They're also small, diverse environments within the campus of Michigan, where you can have a one-to-one interaction with faculty, staff, and upper-level student mentors. So each MLC has special courses, activities, and extra programs to help you ease your transition into college and build your success. It's also a really great place to make friends when you're transitioning to college because it's a great place to meet people with similar interests as you. So programs can vary in several ways, including the academics and participation requirements and the size. So hopefully this panel will help you decide which MLC is right for you. You actually can apply to MLCs right now. We will have some links in the chat window on the side. Please note that all MLCs are open to Michigan students with the exception of the residential college and the honors program, which are only for LSA students. So the first MLC we're going to hear from today is my own MLC, which is the residential college. So I'm going to introduce Jana and Molly to talk some more about it.
Hi, I'm Jana. So we're going to talk a little bit about the RC. So the RC is a living learning community located in East Quad, right on Central Campus, really close to the Diag. So a huge draw to the RC is the liberal arts small college-like community that it offers. Each class has about 250 students, so you get that smaller feel, which is really nice and really great to meet friends and have a community in your dorm space. Another cool aspect is the language program. The RC offers French, German, Japanese, Spanish, Russian, and an American Sign Language program. And the really nice thing about this is you can finish the LSA requirement in half the time. Finally, there's a lot of art and music opportunities within the RC. There's a theater, photo lab, music practice rooms, art studios, and all classrooms and teachers' offices are all located right inside of East Quad. So now Molly and I want to share why we decided to join the RC. So I'll go first. I joined because of the language. I want to work in global health, so I wanted to have 1 or 2 languages other than English under my belt. But the community that we found has really made the RC and University of Michigan feel like home.
Hi, I'm Molly. I'm a freshman, also in the RC, obviously, from Sterling Heights, Michigan. And I picked to be in the RC because I came from a smaller high school, so I wanted to maintain that feeling of a small community within a large college. And I was really interested in the intensive language study. I actually, because of how fast you can complete the language requirement with the RC languages, I was able to already declare a Russian major, which is typically earlier than what you would do if you had to go through all 2 years of Russian and the normal LSNA. So I just had a passion for foreign language, and I was able to pursue that on a faster track through the RC.
All right, thank you so much, Jana and Molly. If you guys are interested in learning more about the RC, there are some links available for you in the chat, so you can check out their socials. Next, we're going to hear from honors from Brian, Molly, and Naomi.
Hi guys, my name is Brian. I'm from San Marino, California. I'm a first-year student. I'm an LSA. I'm part of the honors program. So the honors program is a really great program that allows students to have a smaller community within the very large, broad university population at Michigan. At the honors program, we offer a lot of unique courses that are exclusive to honors students, such as core classes and mini courses. And a lot of them function in allowing you to explore a lot of your own personal interests while still allowing you to fulfill course requirements. And they also offer a unique way of learning. It's a lot more engaging and a lot less test taking like some other traditional college classes. And so it's a very nice way to transition into college without being at risk at, for some people having the struggles of learning and coping with the transition to college. And so one of the main reasons that I joined the honors program was to really get a feel and have a nice community of friends to start with coming from out of state. And so the honors program has really helped me out in that way. And I'll hand it off to Molly now.
Yeah, well, the community aspect is definitely a huge draw to apply to the honors program. So the housing is in South Quad, which is really close to a lot of the academic buildings. You don't have to live in South Quad in order to participate in the honors program, but it is really nice to be living really close to a lot of people that you also find in a lot of your honors classes. And they also put on a lot of programming and events through the honors program in order to keep the community close and connected outside of just the classroom setting.
Hi, I'm Naomi. I'm from the Bay Area, California. And just sort of to echo what Molly and Brian were saying, I think probably my favorite part about honors is not only like the core classes that we get to take because they're smaller, which is really nice, but also that you have a lot more opportunities to meet with your professors and that you're able to convert any normal class offered by Michigan into an honors course. And so that gives you the opportunity to meet one-on-one with your professor and just kind of get to know them better and dive into specific parts of the subject that you're most interested in. So I've definitely taken advantage of that opportunity and really appreciated that, especially being at such a large school and feeling often sort of like nameless to your professors in these larger lectures. So yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you, honors, for sharing. Next, we're going to hear from the Michigan Community Scholars Program from Mega and Jill.
Hi guys, I'm Mega. I'm a sophomore in LSA from Marlborough, New Jersey, and I'm part of the Michigan Community Scholars Program. So the Michigan Community Scholars Program is located in West Quad, and originally applied because I was out of state, and at home I did a lot of community service and social justice work, and I wanted to get involved in similar things with this program. What I didn't expect to find was some of my best friends. This is my second year in Michigan Community Scholars Program. So last year I was a member of the program, and this year I'm a peer mentor. And I think that just speaks to how much MCSP has really shaped my experience at Michigan. You really get involved in some really great community efforts. In my first couple months at Michigan, I got to be part of a program or an event that facilitated a dialogue with local high school students and worked with the March for Our Lives members. And that's just one of the many incredible experiences that I've had with Michigan Community Scholars. And some of the people in it are like family to me now. So it's really, truly shaped my experience here. And I know Jill had a similar experience that she's going to talk more about.
Hi, I'm Jill. I am a sophomore studying history in LSA, and I am from Marston, New Jersey, and I'm an MCSP. And my favorite part of MCSP, well, for me, like I really wanted to live in a community of people that also had similar values to me, and everyone in MCSP like cares about diversity and social justice, and that was really important for me. And what I liked about MCSP is that we got to do community service like all throughout Southeast Michigan. So I'm from out of state, and I was able to like see and meet people from all over Michigan that weren't in college with me, which really broadened my experience. And also the dialogues that we would do in MCSP, which are like about social justice topics. And I, like Mega, came back for a second year, and I am a peer advisor on the IRC, which means that I like run the dialogues now as a second year. So that was like a really important and a significant part of my college experience thus far.
Okay, thank you, MCSP, for sharing your experiences. Next, we're going to hear from LSWA from Elizabeth, Maggie, and Tommy.
Hi, everyone. My name's Tommy. I'm a current sophomore here at Michigan, and I was in LSWA, or Lloyd Scholars for Writing in the Arts, as we like to call it, LSWA, my freshman year. And LSWA is actually Michigan's oldest Michigan Learning Community, or MLC. It's been around for about 58 years, and it's primarily a program for first-year students, so it's not as much of a commitment. However, there is the option to return. I actually didn't return my sophomore year, but missed it so much that I'm coming back as a junior. So I took a break in between. And basically what LSWA is about writing in the arts. So anybody who has a sort of creative passion or creative interest, LSWA could be for you. It's located in the Alice Lloyd dorm, which is a super nice renovated dorm located with all the freshmen on the hill. There's a full art studio, a dance studio, or a dance room, whatever you want to call it. And my favorite part of LSWA is just getting to pursue different creative passions while you do whatever you're here to do at University of Michigan and study whatever you want to study. And you get to develop really close relationships with all your professors in a personal way, which is super cool.
Yeah, so building on that, part of your requirements for LSWA will be taking a class with us, one per semester. The first fulfills your first year writing requirement, and the second fulfills your creative expression. I'm taking creative writing, so and they're great ways to work towards your degree. So nothing you do with us will be like unnecessary or fluff, but it's also a great way to get into small classes with amazing professors. My first semester professor is writing one of my recommendations, and we're very close. Additionally, we also have monthly meetings that we have you participate in. They're usually performances, which is really nice to go out and be able to see. And then we also offer clubs for all of our members and all of our students to participate in. So we offer them in like podcasting, music, poetry, and it changes year to year. The best thing about our clubs is that they're a great way to meet new people. A lot of clubs at Michigan can be really large and hectic, and it's hard to find your place. But with LSWA, you get to learn with your peers and get to like do things that you weren't sure that you were into before. So I'm in poetry. I put on a poetry presentation with no past poetry experience, and now I'm super into open mic nights. Basically, LSWA is a place to find what you want to do and take risks.
Guys, I'm Maggie. I'm also in LSWA or LSWA, and I am currently a junior. Kind of touching on what Lizzie just said, one of the coolest things about LSWA is your ability to not only maybe work on a type of art or creative expression that you are talented in and really like, but also the ability to try things that you've never done before. Similar to what she was saying about poetry, that's something that I did my freshman year. I had the chance to help co-lead a club on art activism this year. So you can really try all these different fields of creative expression that you're interested in. But my favorite thing probably has to be the community that you foster in LSWA. The coolest thing about it is that you're all connected with each other through this interest in creative writing and the arts, but everyone is from a different background. Everyone has a different major. Some of my best friends are engineers, math students, chemistry students, pre-med, pre-law. So you really just have to be passionate for the arts, but you can have a whole different life beyond that too.
Okay, thank you guys for sharing. Next, we're going to hear from the Living Arts Engine from Erin and Michaela.
Hello, I'm Erin. I'm a sophomore studying environmental engineering, and I'm a part of Living Arts Engine. Living Arts Engine is an interdisciplinary community based out of Bursley Hall. There are approximately 150 undergraduates from majors like art, architecture, engineering, music, pretty much anything you can imagine. Within the community, it's primarily first-year students. So each first-year student is given a mentor where they can go to them for advice or just to talk. As a first-year student, you take a class where they help you expand your creative process by creating various projects using different techniques and skills from different disciplines. We also have monthly meetings. The first semester meetings are focused on bringing in professionals and having them teach us different skills. For example, this past year, we had professionals come in and teach a dance workshop, a video game workshop, or even we had a workshop where we all created cars.
Could y'all hear her? Okay, sweet. So I'm gonna go on and talk about our second semester. So basically our second semester consists of CCPs, which are community collaborative projects. And so all of our Saturday meetings that semester, we work towards this project at the end of the semester that we get to present. Usually super cool interdisciplinary coaching goes on with those. In addition to those, we're really super social MLC. We host game nights and TV viewing parties. Like this semester, I think we did Legend of Korra, and Avatar usually happens every year. And we do like Just Dance night. So we're super, super social. We have our own lounge in the basement of Bursley that has everything that you could possibly, and all of that is, you have, I know I've met some of my best friends through Living Arts. Me and Erin got super close our freshman year. And we're going on in the program next year, me and as an RA and Erin as a second year peer mentor. So we really love the program and we plan to stick with it for as long as we possibly can.
All right, great. Thank you, Living Arts Engine. Next, we're going to hear from WISE RP from Kelly, Jennifer, and Sam.
Hello, my name is Kelly. I am from Tennessee. I am a freshman in the College of Engineering, and I'm here with a couple of my friends representing the Women in Science and Engineering residential program, otherwise known as WISE RP. So WISE RP consists of 100 freshmen each year get accepted, and they're all women interested in the STEM major, whether it be engineering, biology, computer science, anything like that. And then there'll be like 40 peer mentors, which are sophomores who come back to the program. So in WISE, you'll be placed in a peer mentor group, which is you and a couple of the freshmen with one peer mentor who's in your interested major. If you don't know your major, it's all okay. You'll be placed in an interest group of like what you're interested in. And this is a really great way to make a big community like Michigan so much smaller, since there's only around 200 max in this program. You're living in the Hill in Moshe, Jordan, and it's a great place to live. If you're interested more, you can check out the WISE website, and that's also how you apply to this MLC. And then you can check out our Instagram too, at UMich-WISE-RP, and check out all the cool things we do throughout the year.
Oh, hi, I'm Jennifer, and I'm a freshman in LSA studying computer science, and I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. So all freshmen in WISE take 2 one-credit courses, one in the fall and one in the winter. And topics this class explore are self-identity, challenges women may have in STEM, networking, and mentorship. So this class really helps you professionally and just grow as a person in general. My favorite assignment from this class was an interview we had to do with a woman in STEM. I met with someone who was in my intended profession, and she really gave me insight into the field and gave me recommendations on how to succeed. Another academic component of WISE RP are study groups. So typically a junior or senior who has taken a STEM class before leads it, and you just go get a review of material and prepare for exams. I've used them for all my computer science classes, and it's been really helpful.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a freshman in LSA studying computer science. I'm from Cupertino, California, and I'm also in WISE RP. So WISE is also a living community, so we do a ton of fun social events throughout the year. This includes activities that are set up by our program board, which can be a ton of various things. So we did like potting succulents, we went ice skating, and those are just really fun social activities that help us to bond with each other. Another event that we have pretty much every month is tea times. And the way those work is we invite alumni back and we just get to socialize with them and socialize with other members of the WISE community. And then finally, we also have our mentee groups, and our mentors are typically will take us out for events. We just do a ton of bonding with them throughout the year, and they're really there to help give us the advice that we need, whether it's social advice or with our classes or anything you really need.
Great, thank you, WiseRP, and I really liked your spirited t-shirts as well. Next, we're going to hear from Michigan Research and Discovery Scholars from Ayush.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ayush. I'm a freshman in school kinesiology. I'm a movement science major. I'm from Rosemount, Minnesota. And so MRADS is very much a research-based community. That's kind of what we're centered around. In the first semester, what you'll take a 1-credit class that'll actually help you get introduced to research. So we do all kinds of things such as like Excel workshops, PowerPoint workshops, kind of just getting to know like how to kind of conduct research, how to be in that kind of setting. Our community as a whole is very diverse in terms of everything, major, gender, ethnicities. We're very much a diverse community, and that's something that we really stress about. In terms of living in the community as a whole, so everybody that's in MRADS lives in the 4th and 5th floors of Moshe Jordan, just above the WiseRP. There's lots of community events that we do as well. So when you first come to University of Michigan during Welcome Week, we have the STEPS program, which is a way to get you integrated to the community right away. You basically get to know everybody that's in MRADS and all those sort of things. Throughout the year, we have lots of mentor-mentee events. That's kind of where you get to interact in small groups with other people in your community, along with your allocated mentor. We have tea time similar to WISE as well, where a lot of the alumni will come back. You get to interact with them. And we also have a lot of alumni research seminars all throughout the year, and that gives you an opportunity to really get to know what it's like for past people who are in MRADS and what their experience was like, as well as how current researchers are, like what sort of work current researchers are doing. We do a lot of academic and professional development as well. There's lots of opportunities for those. We do a lot of workshops for resumes, for interviews, for posters, all that sort of thing. So at the end of the year, when you're in MRADS, so basically you start out, you get your research project, and then at the end of the year, it all culminates when we have a seminar. This year got canceled, unfortunately, due to the COVID epidemic. But you'll have a seminar at the end of the year where everybody gets to present their research at a very formal sort of seminar, and that's a really cool experience. Overall, you have a lot of sophomore leaders, such as advisors and mentors, who are always available for you to talk to, as well as the administrators. Next year, I'm actually coming back as a sophomore mentor. So if any of you do choose to come into MRADS, maybe your mentor. So yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ayush. So our last speaker will be Annabelle, representing HSSP.
Hi guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm Annabelle. I'm a sophomore studying business, and I am currently in Chicago to tell you guys a little bit more about HISP, which is Health Sciences Scholars Program. So we are a Michigan learning community, and just like all other Michigan learning communities, we want to help transition you from high school to college and make this super large campus seem a little bit smaller. So HISP does just that, and we are a 1-year program that helps students shape their pre-health journey. So we are health sciences focused. And I just want to emphasize that while we are health sciences focused, that you do not have to be 100% decide on your major. Like I'm business major, but I was interested in the healthcare industry. So I did this my freshman year, and I really loved it and really helped me figure out what I wanted to do. So like I said, this is a 1-year program. So you would live in Cousins Dorm, which is on Central Campus on the Hill. It's newly renovated. It's co-ed. It's really, really nice. You would also take a class called ALA 106 and 109 for the whole year. And it's a class that introduces you to healthcare. You go over topics like ethics, global health, and different careers in healthcare, things like that. And even currently, the professor, Adam, is teaching about the COVID-19 pandemic in real time right now. So it's a really amazing class. You get an inside view into health in the healthcare industry. that many actually do not get until like later into their careers. We also have the requirement of observations. So as a freshman, I'm sure it's pretty intimidating to reach out to doctors and health professionals to get those shadowing opportunities. So HISP sets everything up for you. All you have to do is register, pick the ones that work with you and the ones that you're interested in. So my year, I did a urologist, I did an audiologist, dentistry professor, geriatrics. There's so many different types that you can choose from, and it's really interesting to get an inside view on different careers. And we also have autobiographies. So there's 4 throughout the whole year. And it's a great chance to hear health professionals talk about their journeys to their current position, like where they are right now. And it's really reassuring to hear from doctors and other health professionals. And we even hear from the professor. And you really get to hear how their journey might not be the traditional path. And it's a great way to ask questions and network with them because they're really there to help you. And just more about the community aspect of it. It is a very supportive, very social community. I met some of my best friends there, and it's really easy to meet up and go eat dinner at Mojo and go study together because everybody lives together on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floor of Cousins. So there are also sophomore-led study groups, so people who took the class last year who are there to help you. There's committees and community events for that social bonding aspect of the community. There's spa, movie, game nights, all sorts of things. And we also have an in-house academic advisor, and the professor and director's office is directly right downstairs where a lot of people often study, so it's really easy. Applications are already out, and I hope you guys consider HISP.
All right, thank you, Annabelle, and thank you for the 8 different MLCs here today for speaking. So first of all, I want to point out that we do have a poll if you would like to participate. It is in the Zoom chat, and the question is, where are you from? So this is a question we usually ask during the in-person campus days. So hopefully this is taking part of the in-person campus days and still keeping it true to our Zoom version for this year. Okay, great. Looks like Michigan, California, all over. So it's great to see people from all over participating in our webinar today. So next we're going to take some questions. So one question that was asked is, which MLC is the best for students planning to go into medical school / healthcare?
I can speak on that. So I talked about Health Sciences Scholars Program, HISP. So it is health sciences focused if you are interested. We do get a lot of pre-med kids, but again, you don't have to be 100% decided. It's just a way for you to kind of explore different options and learn a little bit more before you like permanently decide or something like that.
I can touch on this briefly as well. So MRADS, because we are a research-based community, that's something that med schools look at kind of a lot, or that they put an importance on, like getting involved in research. So if you do join MRADS, that's a really good thing to have on your resume right away. You can, because once you start your research, so we're not only like medical research though, that's kind of an important thing to stress. There is all sorts of research that you can be involved in. But if you are pre-med, this is a very good opportunity because you do get that experience in research right away. And there's a good chance that if whatever project you get on freshman year, there's a good chance that you will have the opportunity to stay on even longer, possibly all 4 years if you want, maybe get a publication later throughout your career and all those sorts of things, which is good for med schools.
Okay, thank you. We're going to open up another poll. This one will be about anxiety, or if you're nervous or anything in between about coming to Michigan. So feel free to vote in that poll now. All right, so we want to thank you guys for your honesty. This is obviously a very hard time for almost everyone right now, and we want to thank you guys again for joining and for being honest in our poll. Okay, next we're going to go to another question. This question is, how does one balance their time with possible Michigan Learning Communities events?
I can touch on this one. So I would say it's very manageable to balance it. One thing I didn't really realize until going to college was you have a lot more free time just in general. So you really get to structure your days how you want it. So for instance, WISE, you have Tuesday nights that you have to block off from 6 to 8. And that's very manageable. You just put it in your calendar and then you go to that. And anything else you have, like the course, it's just like any other coursework. You just manage that along with your other course load. And any other events are very like social oriented. So you just can put it into your calendar and then balance it around all your other work.
Something else too is that a lot of MLCs, mine being the residential college, will give you different options for events to attend, and you wouldn't have to attend every single event. There are lots of different options, including the types of events you can go to, the different interests you may have for what you want to explore within your learning community, within something on campus, and there are different times and days for all of those. So it is pretty flexible, and I haven't heard of anyone really having a hard time fitting it into their schedule. Okay, so our next question, I saw a couple times in the chat. It is, if I'm admitted to more than one Michigan Learning Community, can I choose the residence hall where I live? If any of our panelists would like to answer this question.
I can answer it.
Okay, thank you.
You will live like in the residence hall that the program is housed in. So like, for example, I'm an MCSP and it's housed in West Quad. So you'd be living in West Quad. For the RC, you'd be living in East Quad. And the same goes for every program. Honors is South Quad.
I can also talk. So I'm in both honors and the RC. So if you're in the RC and you also get admitted into another learning community and you want to be in both, you will be living in East Quad. The residential college has a 2-year living requirement. So that's why you'd be living in East Quad. So I'm not living in South Quad, I'm living in East Quad. But I think the RC might be one of the only ones that has that requirement.
Alexander, did you want to speak on that as well? Okay, might have been a glitch. We'll move on to the next question. So this one is, thoughts on engineering honors? How competitive is it to get in? What does the program look like? And any other thoughts if an engineering student would like to answer this question?
I can take the question. Just to like clarify what the question is, are you asking about engineers in the honors program or the engineering honors, which is like not a residential program, if you happen to know?
The question says engineering honors. If you want to speak on both, that would be
okay.
Cool.
So yeah, engineering honors, if I'm just to make sure, like I might not get all my facts correct, but that is you need to keep a GPA above a 3.5, and there's extra credits you have to do, like extra classes. It's around 9 credits if I'm sure, but it's not a residential program, but it's just like it's kind of like a minor, but yeah, it's pretty much a minor, and you just have to have a certain GPA requirement and you have to take certain credits. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Kelly. You can go ahead.
And for engineers in the honors program, So the honors program is limited to only LSA students. So I do know some people who are interested in transferring to the engineering school, but it's kind of like a completely separate thing with the actual School of Engineering.
Okay, great. Thank you guys for speaking on that. So we're going to do another poll question. This question is, have you decided to attend U of M this fall? Okay, great. We're happy to see that most of you are joining us in the fall. For those of you still on the fence, I hope this webinar was more clarifying for you guys. We're going to move on to another question. So this one is for all of the panelists in MLCs. What networking or general opportunities have you gotten from your MLC that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise?
I know through Living Arts Engine, we get the chance to work with a ton of people. Like our coaches for our CCPs are typically people working in different types of fields. So I know like so many people have gotten internships through their coaches because they get to make the connection. Also, our director is really good at, if you're really interested in something and you want to dive deeper into a certain subject, he'll set you up with someone that was previously in the program or that he knows through the university to get you to where you want to be.
For WISE RP, we do a lot of networking things, both in our class and in our events. So we have an alumni weekend every year in February, and that's when we have about five alumni come back who are in STEM fields, and we get to talk to them in breakout groups, and they're on a panel and we can ask them questions. So that's one way we network. Also in our ALA class, in the winter semester, we had to go to a career fair and we had to write a paper on it afterwards. So that was a really good way to just push us out of our comfort zone and go talk to recruiters at that event.
I know for LSWA, we have all community meetings a few times per semester, and usually what happens at those is a resident artist or like writer from the community usually comes in and kind of gives like a presentation or runs a workshop and gets to just like talk with people. So you get a really cool opportunity to meet like actual artists. We also have different things throughout the semester, like poetry readings, where a lot of alum will come back to kind of read some poetry, and you get to network with a lot of people who aren't just only in the program, that are open to like other people as well.
For the RC, whenever artists come to visit and do exhibitions in our gallery, oftentimes there are opportunities that you can attend a presentation about their art and you can talk to them and meet them. There's also very similar events like this with alumni. There's often opportunities that you can have lunch with alumni in the dining hall. Also, I've found that having proficiency in a language has been a huge help when applying to things like internships or leadership opportunities in other clubs and stuff like that. It's definitely a huge draw to have one or two languages other than English under your belt.
Yeah, so I'm in the same boat as Jana in the residential college. We both took our proficiency exam after finishing the residential college language requirement, which is an immersive experience, an 8-credit course that you would only get through the RC. And then it will actually show up on your transcript proficient in Spanish or whatever other language you choose, which is definitely a huge benefit of the RC. So we can take some more questions now. Someone in the Q&A is asking if there are any downsides of MLCs that you could shed light on, maybe even if it's something like stereotypical that you would like to clear up or something very general.
I can say something about that. I really liked my learning community. I would say one downside is that I got so involved that it was like a little bubble, but that it was just because it was so easy because we all took the same class, my friends all live in the same hall as me, stuff like that. But that's like honestly up to you. I know people who also do like Greek life or other like clubs you can join, does not stop you at all. So it's like up to you for the social part. It's just that I know for me, a lot of my friends are like his students.
I can add something. This is like a really specific example, but I know for honors, every student at Michigan has to do a first year writing class, but they don't offer very many options for honors, and you have to take an honors one in order to receive like honors credit through your sophomore year. So like I'm a freshman. I won't be taking it till like sometime my sophomore year, which is allowed. But that was just like one thing I found kind of frustrating. So I guess I would say sometimes like the honors core classes can be slightly restrictive, but like that's the only one that you're required to take.
Yeah, so going off of that, each MLC will have their own requirements. It might be a class, it might be events that you have to attend. That could be seen as a downside if that's not something you're interested in, but hopefully if you are choosing an MLC, you already have an interest in that subject or whatever course material you would be learning. So I think most of the people in MLCs would see a lot of those things as a positive, when people that wouldn't naturally have an interest in that and wouldn't be in the MLC may see it as a downside. So it really depends on who you talk to, their opinions on MLC. But I think coming from people like this, the panelists that are actually in the MLCs, is the best place to get their opinions. Another question we got was, could I make it work if I'm in a sports club and an MLC? I don't know if any of the panelists fall into this category, but if you are, you can touch on this.
I'm not personally like in a competitive sports club, but I was actually an RA through can't talk right now, LSWA, and one of my residents was in club lacrosse and club rugby, and she was able to like do all of that and make it work. She is very passionate about sports, so she joined a lot of things that required a lot of her. So I know that at least for her, she was really busy, but it was definitely something she enjoyed and something she did, and she was totally able to still participate in a lot of the MLC events that LISWA put on too.
I can also speak on that. I'm not in a sports club, but I'm in like 5 clubs, and I was able to balance everything. I also know that for HISP that a lot of members also made their own HISP teams and played like frisbee, football, and they joined like clubs together, things like that. So it's like totally doable.
Yeah, thank you guys for speaking on that. Another question we got is, what is a good way to manage your time in an MLC? Like what methods for managing time are good while you are in an MLC? If any of the panelists would like to speak on this as well.
I can speak on this a little. I think it kind of goes with the last question a little bit. Being in an MLC is like being involved. It's not like being involved, but it's your time management skills that come from being in an MLC are going to apply to a lot of the clubs that you're involved in and a lot of the other classes that you're taking as well. I don't know anyone in my MLC that wasn't involved in other things outside of the MLC. And if they weren't involved in other things outside of the MLC, then they were really involved in leadership within the MLC. So just managing your time when you come to college in general is making sure that you don't take on too much, that you're leaving time for, your mental health. I know it's like really exciting to come to college and meet a bunch of people and you really want to socialize with everyone. But one of the biggest things for me with time management is not taking on too much, making sure that you're taking time for yourself. And there's a lot of resources with MLCs, which I think is really great. You have a lot of advisors to talk to, and also upperclassmen within the program, specifically in MCSP. I was a peer mentor this year, so I was there to talk to freshmen when they needed help with time management. So just using the resources to the best of your ability, learning from other people's experiences, and just turning to the support that you will have through an MLC.
Just to quickly add on to that, like Google Classroom or like Google Calendar is essential at Michigan, and having like a well-scheduled, well-organized calendar is the key to any time management. And usually MLCs like give you support. So I know at LeSois we have like days organized and events organized by RAs and our essays to help students like create their own calendar and stay organized even when college can be chaotic. We also have like Coffee with Carol, which gives you a chance to talk to Carol Tell, I think, and she's amazing, and she can like offer a support system beyond just, you know, making sure you're well organized. And I think overall most people would agree that MLCs are like very manageable commitments, especially when a lot of other clubs at Michigan have very weighty commitments, like 3-hour practice days or something of the like.
Yeah, and I can add on to that too. Something that I want to emphasize is that the MLCs stand for Michigan Learning Communities, so they are based around academics. There won't be a huge amount of events that you have to attend. Most of them are optional. It really is about your academics and things that you may have done before, like for the residential college. I know the language requirement is a really big part, but that is also a language requirement for LSA in general. So I don't think that you would be doing anything that would take up a lot of time extra that you wouldn't already be doing. All right, we're gonna do one more poll. This is if you would like to hear from more MLCs, and then we will connect you to it later this week after the seminar. So for this poll, you can check off any MLCs that you're interested in, and then this is a good way for the staff that is in the webinar to be able to contact you, and then you can help set up your application and hopefully be a part of the MLC in the fall. Okay, hopefully that poll is running. I'm not seeing it on my end, but hopefully it's just a glitch for my system. We can do another question. So this one was if there are MLCs that are more selective or competitive than others. This student asked about MCSP specifically, but any MLCs can answer.
I was actually typing the answer to this right now. I was writing that it really varies each year, like from MCSP, and I'm sure for most of them as well, like it varies each year. So there's not like a hard like acceptance rate of like year to year, because it depends on who's applying and how many spots are there. But what I was writing about MCSP is like, as long as you write that like essay, like demonstrating that you want to live here, that this is right for you, they'll come to you. For example, like I actually applied to WISE as my first choice. And as I mentioned earlier, like I'm studying history, but I thought I wanted to study math. But in my essay, like I think they could just tell like that was just not for me. And like, thank God, because I very quickly realized that that was not for me. So I think the essay is like a really important aspect of the application, and like they'll really find what's right for you for what learning community you should be in.
All right, thank you, Jill. That was really helpful. So this is a question from YouTube. It says, can someone describe their research experience? And real quick before that's answered, there is a slight glitch with the poll. Hopefully it shows up shortly. So the question was, can someone describe their research experience?
Yeah, I can do that. So basically my research project is a biology project. So my lab kind of looks at metabolic diseases, specifically diabetes. But the thing is, every project is very different. So you basically have a mentor or a PI, a principal investigator. And so sometimes you will be working primarily with them, sometimes not. So this person is typically a professor in a graduate school, a professor at the undergrad school. somebody that's conducting research. But for me, my PI is a bariatric surgeon, so I don't really interact with him too much. I meet with him about once a month, and basically the rest of my project team is 3 to 4 other people. And basically I go into the lab about twice a week and basically just run a bunch of experiments with these other people. And the thing is, the rest of your team will be very supportive in terms of helping you with your project and your poster for the end of the year if you are in MRADS or Europe, which is something that's very helpful. But I think the main thing is that it does vary from project to project, whether you're in a wet lab, whether you're in, say, like a math lab or an econ lab, everything is very different. But for the most part, for me as working in a biolab, it has been very supportive. And there's also usually a lot of flexibility in terms of when you can go in, the things you can do. And a lot of the time you kind of pace yourself and you're not really like forced into doing anything until you're comfortable doing it. At least that's the experience that I've had.
Thank you, Ayush. Would anyone else like to speak about maybe not research opportunities, but maybe ways that you have like connected with faculty, professors through your MLC?
I can speak on that a little bit. It wasn't through, I'm in the honors program and I didn't actually get the research opportunity through the honors program, but I am studying English and education. So going into it originally, research hadn't been something I had been planning on doing, but if you really are interested and really is that something that you actually want to do, there are plenty of opportunities. So my research project is through the School of Education, and it's just kind of looking at how language of the teacher influences how the students learn, which is very interesting to me. So I think that my point here is just that if research is something that you're interested in and something that you want to do, there are a ton of opportunities for you to do that regardless of your MLC or even your major or what you're studying.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. So there was a question from YouTube that said, where are the biggest dorms? I'm honestly not 100% sure about the answer to this, but I think almost all the dorms are about the same size. I know in East Quad, there are like 3 or 4 rooms that are almost a triple that are served as doubles. And so if you're really lucky, you can be there. But I think for the most part, the dorms are all pretty equal size. So wherever you're placed, you should have a pretty fair chance of getting a good room. This is another question from YouTube. Which MLCs allow students to choose their roommates? If any of the panelists would like to answer this one.
I can go ahead. I'm not sure if this is reflective of every single MLC, but I believe like the general consensus is that MLCs, I know that LeSois at least does, will honor your roommate request as long as both roommates are accepted into the same MLC. So typically what will happen is you'll apply to the MLC individually as normal. And then when you fill out your housing application, which is separate from your MLC application, you can still list a roommate preference. So I actually did this. I met someone on like my class of 2022 Facebook page. And we decided we wanted to room together, but also do an MLC, and we both got accepted. So obviously if you're accepted and your roommate is not, or the other way around, you won't be able to room together unless you choose not to go into your MLC. But I believe for most of them, they will be honored if both parties are accepted.
Speaking on HISP, we do randomly selected roommates. So the system will choose for you, but I had a great experience with this, and we actually find that you get less roommate conflicts and stuff like that this way. And we want to like cultivate the diversity and meet other people. And even if you do have conflicts, like I'm sure your best friends are living right across the hall.
In WISE RP, we also don't honor roommate requests, but I went in blind and I love my roommate. We're going to room together again next year. And I think something that really helps about that is since you're in an MLC, you typically have similar interests as your roommate, so you can connect in a lot of ways that if you went into the college just blind without the MLC, you might not have as high a chance of having that.
I can say with Living Arts Engine, our director actually pairs people together. So it's not necessarily random, but you don't get to choose who you live with. So basically Mark Jones will read everybody's essays and come to a conclusion on who he thinks should live together. And actually, from what I've experienced and from what I've heard from a lot of other people, like that's been really effective. I know me and my roommate like got along really, really well. And if you stick around for year 2 to be a peer mentor, you get to pick who you live with for your peer mentor year. But overall, like my freshman year experience with my roommate was fantastic. Like I have no complaints.
I can say in the RC, it's a 2-year living requirement. So your first year you go in blind, but your second year you make friends as you are in the RC. And if you decide to stay for the second year, you can pick your roommate for the next year for your sophomore year. So though the first year you can't pick, the second year you can. And I personally had a very positive experience with my roommate my freshman year so far. So yeah, like and your hallway too is filled with RC people typically. So even if you don't become best friends with your roommate, you might meet your best friend in your hallway who's also in the RC, because I tend to find that the RC has a really nice community. So yeah.
Yes, speaking also on behalf of MCSP, we also do random roommates. So we don't honor roommate requests. But if you choose to stay a second year, similar to the RC, you get to choose who you're going to room with. And everything that Molly said, I think also holds true for MCSP. The community's really close. There's 2 halls that we live in. And so your entire hall is going to be in MCSP if you're in this MLC. And rooming blindly, I think, as everyone else has said, usually just tends to work out better, especially when I look at my experience versus people that I know who chose their roommates. I really don't think that there's a downside to it, but yeah.
For MRADs, real quick, pretty much the same as what everyone else has said. We don't honor roommate agreements, but kind of similar to what Annabelle touched on. The reasoning is very much about like encouraging diversity and being open-minded and meeting new people. Because as I touched on before, diversity is something that's very important in MRADs and something that we stress on a lot. So that is probably the main reason. But then additionally, like other MLCs have talked about, if you do choose to stay for your sophomore year, then you get to choose as well. So like for me personally, next year I'm going to be in MRADs again, and so I'm living with somebody that was right across the hall from me. So like I said, everybody lives on the same floor, so you still have the opportunity to become very close with everybody that's in the community.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys for speaking on that. This is a question from YouTube. How helpful have your academic advisors been in helping you decide your academic path? I know some of the MLCs have their own advisors, if you guys would like to touch on this.
I can talk about this a little bit too, real quick.
Go ahead, Ayush.
Oh, sorry. So basically in MRADs, you're assigned a peer advisor, and each peer advisor has about 8 to 10 students, I believe. And so you basically, you interact with them a lot throughout the year. You have a lot of one-on-ones with them. You talk to them about your research project a lot. And for me personally, my peer advisor has been very instrumental in terms of how, like what I've been looking at towards my academic path. So I'm a kinesiology student. My peer advisor is also a kinesiology student, which is something that in MRADs is pretty uncommon. There's only about 2 or 3 kines students. And so I think having a peer advisor that is the same major as me and in the same school has been something that's very helpful, because I can talk to him about how to like schedule classes, things like that, different opportunities within kines that I could look at. And so I think it really does it really does depend on who your peer advisor is. But I think for the most part, they typically will be very helpful in terms of anything that you really need.
Yeah, and speaking on that, for HISP, we have peer mentors, which are sophomores who are there to also help you. But more officially, we also have an in-house academic advisor. Her name is Joyce. She's amazing. She has a lot of connections. So if you have like appointments with her, she can always help you connect to people to give you more opportunities and stuff like that. And we also have like the professor and director, peer mentors who stay in the office downstairs. So it's a great way to ask questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing in the residential college. We have the MAP program, which is called Mentorship Among Peers, where freshmen can have upperclassmen help them out.
We also have amazing advisors. But another super nice thing about the residential college is that class sizes are really small. So you're going to get really close with your professors. And I actually decided to go the med health track because of my first year writing seminar teacher. And I went to his office hours all the time. I formed a really close relationship with him. So you don't just have to talk to advisors, but professors are also a really great resource. So yeah.
On behalf of WISE, we also have peer mentors, which is our peer mentor group. So be placed in your major or your interest if you don't know what your major is. I've had, like, WISE has very great mentorship as these will be sophomores. So if you have any questions about classes or professors, they can really help you. We also have our director and our assistant directors, and then we have 2 GSIs that really help out if you ever have any questions. So I feel like most MLCs have some sort of bonding to help you figure out what major you're looking at.
As far as LSWA goes, there's no like formal academic advising that happens in the program. However, like a lot of the other MLCs, the class sizes are really small, and like the way the classes are structured allows you to develop really personal relationships with the LSWA faculty members. Most of the teachers come from or I think all of them actually, but the majority of the teachers come from the Sweetland Writing Center, which works with a lot of different departments throughout the school. So those are great resources to those people are great resources to get to know and talk with. And LSWA also has a lot of like small, very casual conversation events with the faculty and staff where you can, express concerns and things like that. For example, my freshman year, I sat down and was able to talk for like 2.5 hours with one of our professors and just talk about like life in general, because they have the time to sit down and do that with you, which I think is really cool.
Kind of going off of what Tommy just said too, on top of getting like really, really close relationships with like a phenomenal faculty, LaSwa has a really good student leader team. So on top of like the MLC, LSWA RAs, we have sophomores called essays, which are like student assistants, and creative mentors, which are all going to be like sophomores, juniors, and seniors who are students like still in the program, but have been through it before, have had a lot of experiences in college and in life in general, and are kind of another group of people to turn to for whether it's like academic advising or really just advice about anything.
Yeah, similar to that for MCSP, one of the most important relationships for me my freshman year was relationships that I had with the sophomores in MCSP. So there's 3 different types of mentors. There's peer mentors. So every freshman is assigned a peer mentor. And then there is people that are involved in PBNU, IRC, and PACS, which are 3 different sections of MCSP. That kind of work on our different pillars, so community service, dialogue, and then just really cultivating that family experience. And so for me, I was really close with my peer mentor, but I was also really close with the sophomores that lived in my hall, and they still continue to be people that I turn to and people that I go to when I have questions about academics, questions about clubs, questions about life in general. And so it's a relationship that goes on beyond once you're outside of the learning community. And then in terms of faculty, our faculty are really, really just incredible. They're really close with the entire program. Shout out to Wendy, who's here, and David, who is retiring this year, but both of them are absolutely fantastic. Every single person that works in that office knows every student on a one-on-one basis. And it really is a true family experience being so far away from home and being in such a new environment. I always felt really supported and really comfortable by these 2 major relationships because these people were always there for me to turn to. And then coming back a second year, I was able to provide a similar experience for the freshmen.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys for speaking on that. I know in the residential college, we have our own academic advisors, which I know is true for the honors college as well within LSA, and that has been really helpful for me. So for our last question, we are going to just ask our panelists very generally, what is the biggest benefit of joining in MLC?
I can start with the residential college. I just found it really beneficial as a freshman to come in and have a small community to be able to come back to. Something that like I didn't even really think about that was small but made a difference for me is I took Calc 1 and the RC like made a group chat of everyone in the RC who was taking Calc 1, and just like small things like that really made it a positive experience for me. And I personally really just love foreign language, and I love having smaller classes where I can form strong bonds with the professors and who I'm with the class, in with the class. So that was the biggest benefit for me being in the RC.
I think kind of going off of that, Living Arts is super, super small. I think it's not super small. It's about 80 to 90 people, like general like residents, and then our peer mentor group is, I think this year we had 17. It was a really good way to make the huge campus feel super small, and I know that everybody's going to say that, but it's like truly I found some of the people that I know, like I found my maid of honor in Living Arts Engine, like somebody that I know who will be by me like the rest of my life. I joined because I'm an education major, so Living Arts is geared towards more like engineering, art, and I kind of joined on a whim, but I've never had so much fun in my life. Like I love everybody that's in Living Arts Engine. And then it's just a good way to meet some new people. Bursley is gigantic. So you kind of see a new person every day, but seeing a familiar face also was super, super beneficial.
Tacking onto that, the friends portion of like, or making friends in the community that you have is so valuable. I cannot stress it enough. Michigan is a giant school. It is much larger than you think, even though you feel like it's pretty small sometimes because you keep seeing people around. All of my closest friends actually come from like my hall in Lizzie. They had social events throughout the year, which gave us like, fun times to bond. But in the same way, you get to meet so many different people, like engineers, art students, LSA students that are pursuing all different kinds of majors. And making the campus smaller goes a big way. And it's kind of hard to make friends at Michigan sometimes, but MLCs do a really good job, especially Lizzie, of facilitating those friendships.
Yeah, and since I was in HISP, I think a really good way is that it really helped me clarify what I wanted to do. Like I said, I'm a business student that was interested in healthcare, and it really helped me see that side of the things instead of just like the business side of things. And I know a lot of my friends got clarification on like what they wanted to do by going to different autobiographies, talking to teachers, going to observations. So that was really helpful for people. So if you're on the fence or trying to figure out what you want to do in like health sciences field, stuff like that, it's a great way to get that direction.
For me, I was really worried about finding a community. I think a lot of the panelists agree with that at Michigan since it is a big school. And for me, Wiser Pew is really great just because everyone in the community is taking similar classes to me. So I found project partners for my computer science classes. I found people to study with, and that was really beneficial just because it's way more fun to be studying when you have your friends around you. And these are people who I study with, and then we'll go try out all the restaurants in Ann Arbor. So it's just the people you meet in an MLC really become your friends and your community. And since our MLC covers such a wide range of disciplines, if you have a question about anything, you can just go. We have a giant group me. You can just message in the group me and anyone can answer questions about that. So you can really just get guidance on whatever it is, big or small.
Kind of going off what everyone's been saying, like I think the friend and community portion has to be probably the biggest thing that it's been for me. I'm going into my senior year now after this next month, and some of my best friends are still the friends I met in my hall freshman year in Lizzie. But another huge part about being part of this community for me has been kind of what I've learned about a different side of myself, and I think this pertains more to like Lizzie because of its, I guess, like broad range of art and like creative expression that it focuses on. But I've always been someone who's been interested in art and really loved it, but never someone who like knew how to actually do anything. And LeSwa kind of gave me this space to experiment in like a judgment-free zone and really get in touch with this like artistic and creative side of myself that has kind of opened up a whole new way and perspective of looking at things.
I think for MRADs, for me personally, the biggest thing that was like really good was that they're really good about helping make that transition from high school to University of Michigan like really easy and really smooth. I think that's something that's kind of underrated sometimes because honestly, if you're not like super happy and comfortable within those first few days that you're on campus, it's going to be harder for you to like kind of get integrated. So I think having those first few days and like that welcome week and having a lot of community bonding events super early on and having like a strong foundation through like sophomore leaders such as mentors and advisors and also the administrative staff was super helpful like right off the bat because they really help you get integrated into the community and into the university as a whole. So I think really having that transition be made smooth through the MLC was something that was very important for me and very helpful.
And for me in the honors program, oh, sorry.
Oh, totally fine.
For me, it provided me a great opportunity to meet a lot of new people with a really broad range of interests. And for a lot of the people that I've met, I've learned a lot from them, including things that I've never thought that I'd ever be interested in, like physics or some other natural science topic. And being in an MLC just really opened my eyes to like what's beyond my little world and what's beyond in the broader horizons of the world.
I just want to add like one last thing, or I may not even be the last one, but I wanted to give like a slightly different perspective of like, yes, the people you'll meet in MLC are like great, but for me, I think the faculty and like making some kind of faculty relationships with faculty is really important. So I just want to say like to everyone out here, like if you choose not to join an MLC or like you don't get into the one you want, like just try to find like that like some kind of community on campus. It doesn't have to be an MLC. But they're great for serving that purpose.
I'd say that also MLCs are a really great way to kind of complement the rest of your college experience. So for me in LSWA, I don't study English or writing or art or anything like that, but I'm able to take the rest of my college experience, like everything else that I do study in the classes that I take, and kind of like see it in a new lens and apply it into the classes that I'm taking. Kind of have like a home if I need it. And then if I want to break free from the MLC a little bit, I can always go join other clubs and participate in campus in different ways, while at the same time kind of having that core and that rock that kind of ties everything of my entire college experience together, which was really beneficial.
Okay, that seems like everyone that wanted to speak. Thank you for everyone for speaking up about your MLCs. You all obviously seem very passionate about the ones that you've chosen, and I'm really happy you all found your place on campus. I know for me, the residential college and being in an MLC has been a huge help to me on campus. I feel like I've really been able to succeed in my academic field of interest, as well as been pushed to take classes and things I wouldn't have thought of taking before. It's also a really great place I've found for me, and I think everyone in the panel can agree, to make friends, since you're already placed in an environment where you're living and taking similar classes with people that you know have a shared interest. So it's like your immediate friendship is so easy once you know exactly where your icebreaker is going to be. So that is all the time we have for tonight. Once again, I want to thank all of our panelists. We really appreciate your insight, and I hope this was helpful to everyone watching at home. We're going to drop a link to a video about the MLCs in the chat. So if you're still interested, you can watch that. If you are also wanting to get more information on specific MLCs, you can reach out to their own emails, their own websites, their own socials. You can easily find those just with a quick Google search. They all have their own websites. And if you have any other questions, feel free to also DM at UMichLSA on Instagram. That's at UMichLSA. And we hope that you all found this webinar helpful. I hope you all stay safe and go blue.